Hello everyone, and welcome to Trending, a show about all of the diverse things that are happening here in West Hollywood. I'm Tracy Savage, and today we're going to be talking about the ways to get around town. In our recent community study, you told us that one of the best things about West Hollywood is the ability to move around the city without ever having to get into your car. And joining me today is Sloane Goodman. She is the West Hollywood Transportation Program Administrator. She's going to tell us how to move around this town with ease. Thank you so much for joining me today, Perry.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
So West Hollywood is not a huge city, yet the list of ways to get around this town is huge. It's gigantic. There's all kinds of options.
I think the fact that we're in such an urban setting really creates a much more transit-friendly situation for people, and we have both local options that are specific to West Hollywood, as well as we're a part of a larger community, and so we have all of the options that LA Metro provides as well. To begin with, for those people who take the Metro bus through the city, the general ridership can now get a tap card, which is how the Metro is using the fare these days.
Right, love it.
And those are available at the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which is right down the street from City Hall. For seniors and people with disabilities who have the orange tap card, which is a discounted one, the city further subsidizes that so that a senior disabled tap card, if you buy it at City Hall, is only $8 for a 30-day pass, which is really a bargain when you take into consideration parking and gas and everything else right now.
Well, the city is really making it easy for people who have cars to just keep them in the garage. And is that kind of the point? Less traffic, less pollution, saves you money? I mean, is that the focus of the transportation program, to help people figure out a way to not use their cars if they don't have to?
I think transportation is all about access.
Yes.
It's about getting to where you want to go as quickly and as easily as possible. And so part of it is by creating alternatives so that people don't have to get in their cars, because as we all know right now, traffic and parking in our city are kind of challenging.
And gas is ridiculous.
Gas is ridiculous. And it's also, there are many people in our community who either don't own cars or have had to give up driving. And so what we're trying to do is create alternatives for them as well. So in addition to making it easier for those people who are general riders or non-transit dependent, those are people who can use the car if they want to, but we're trying to make it attractive for them not to. But we also have people, what we call transit dependent. And those are people who really don't have access to a car and are dependent on public transportation. So we want to give them a chance to also be able to get to all the places that they need to go as easily as they can.
And so all these services, has it always been this way, or has the city worked hard to create these options over the years and really expand what's available?
I think a little of both. We have had many options, but we're always trying to refine them and improve them and make them better. We did a big study a couple of years ago to try and get some input from people about how can we improve the services, how can we make them easier and more friendly and more accessible to the community. So, for example, the orange and blue line, the city line, we just made a big change to that this year, actually, because we wanted to provide a service that was easier for people to understand. We have had the city line for many years, but the route was kind of confusing, and a lot of people didn't use it because they didn't know how often the buses came or where they should get on. And so we're in the process still of trying to make that the best service that it can be so that people will take advantage of it.
Well, I saw online the orange line and the blue line and the route that it takes, and it really gets you to all of the important, any kind of stop you need. If you're going to be in the city of West Hollywood, you can jump on the line. One goes east, one goes west, correct? And you can get pretty much anywhere you need to be in West Hollywood. Tell me a little bit more about that, because it's really a terrific service.
They come every half hour. They operate Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They stop at the markets, the library, City Hall, both post offices, some of the bigger senior buildings in town, because a lot of the people that use it are seniors. And I also just want to emphasize that it's free.
Free.
It's free.
That's amazing.
So, and that was a change that we made this year, and people have been really enthusiastic about that.
Sure.
So that, you can if you want to go do some errands, you can hop on, do your errands, get back on, and it'll take you. And it also goes into the neighborhoods, which I think is nice for people that don't want to walk all the way up to Santa Monica Boulevard.
Right, it's not a straight line
It's not
down
a straight
Santa Monica.
shot, but it does get you out into the neighborhoods, which is great for people that don't want to have to walk up to Santa Monica or down to Melrose to get on the bus.
Do you have to show West Hollywood that you're a resident? Do you have to? No, anybody can jump on it
Anybody
if you're
can get on.
cruising through the city of West Hollywood.
Yeah.
That is terrific. Well, that's free. You also have the free nighttime shuttle. It's called a pickup line, which I love. 4 miles, a loop through the city every couple of blocks. It stops and it runs through the evening. It's really your designated driver, right? Is that kind of what it's about?
Exactly. Well, I think it has, there were several goals when the pickup line was created. I think part of it was to give people an alternative to stay out of their cars. But I think they also have been really trying to create kind of a social milieu that is associated with the pickup line so that it's kind of just keeping the party rolling. You know, you walk out the door, you get on the bus, and you're with all your buddies and you're partying on the street as much as you're partying in the clubs and in the bars. The pickup line started in August. We've had a fantastic response to it.
It's really new.
Yeah, it just started. So it's still in the pilot right now, and I think council approved a 6-month trial period.
Sure. And it's just in the evenings, right?
It's Friday and Saturday nights only, from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you're out, if you want to have one or two, and you don't want to drive, it's the perfect solution, and everyone can jump aboard.
Yeah, and we've had I mean, it's a lot of people ride it. It's not just the people that are partying and going to the clubs, but also somebody that just wants to go out to dinner and doesn't want to deal with parking.
Sure.
They can get on too.
So we're talking about some free services, but then some buses and taxis, they're going to cost you. But you just mentioned that you're offering discounts. What are some of the other discounts that help people to be able to afford some of these services that aren't free?
Well, we have a discounted taxi program that is available for people over the age of 62 or anyone with a disability of any age. And what it is, it's a little orange card, like a plastic debit card, and people can pay $8 a month and they'll get $28 worth of taxi fare, and they can use it on any of the taxi companies that are licensed to operate in the city. And so they have to call and specify, they order a cab just like you would to go to the airport, and specify that they have a West Hollywood taxi card, and they'll be able to use that.
So you could use a taxi to go to the airport, and for $8 you spend, it would cost, you get $28 of service?
Yeah, but there's a cap of $14 per trip.
Okay.
Because we don't want anyone to get stranded.
Got it.
So we wouldn't want someone to use the whole $28 and then get stuck somewhere and not be able to get back.
Got it.
It's a $14 trip. If they have somewhere to go that is beyond that $14 limit, they pay the difference.
But that's a really wonderful deal.
But it expands their travel dollar a little bit.
Amazing. So why is it so important to provide easy, inexpensive, accessible transportation options for West Hollywood residents?
You know, as I said to you when we began our discussion, transportation is all about access. Yeah. And this city has so many great options available for its residents and its visitors. We have fun things to do at night. We've got fabulous social services. We've got a beautiful library. We've got city meetings happening, pretty much every day or night of the week. But if people can't get there, then what's the good? Yeah. So that's been a very strong interest on the part of the council and the city to make sure that everybody can get to where they want to go, and they can do it safely and cheaply, and it creates more of a sense of community.
I love it. And it doesn't just help the individual resident, but having these kind of services has to help the city.
Sure, of course, because it cuts down on traffic and it cuts down on air pollution, and I think it makes a sense of community. I was telling you before we started that I take the bus myself, and I take the bus to work every day, and I get on the same bus every day, and I meet the same people, and I've made friends on the bus. And I think when you're using, especially with the local services, you get on and you get to know your neighbors, and you start talking to the guy that got on the stop after you, and you say, oh, where do you live? And it's friendly, and I think that's part of what makes West Hollywood such a special and unique place. Is here we are in this huge metropolis, and people know each other like it's Mayberry.
Yeah, love it. And for people who don't live here, the chance that you might actually find a parking spot if you're
Well,
coming into West
right.
Hollywood is nice, because
Right.
if the locals are using other modes of transportation, it might free up parking, and that's also a good thing.
Absolutely.
So we were talking earlier about the community study that you did. What kind of feedback have you gotten from residents in general, and specifically, what is it that they really like and they really want to see?
You know, I have to say that the community study that was conducted by the Social Services Division this year just won this week an international award for community engagement. And the people that did it really put a phenomenal amount of effort into making sure that every kind of voice that we have in West Hollywood was represented. And we heard from people about, you know, what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong and what are people looking for. And transportation was one of the things that people really are quite satisfied with. I think there's always room for improvement, but people seem very happy with all the options that we're making available.
That's fantastic. So where's the best place for residents to get more information about all of these transportation options in the city, to find out about routes and where to pick them up and how to buy the cards and all that?
For people that have internet access, it's all on the city website, weho.org, and there's a button that you can click on for public transportation options. But we also have CityLine maps and other information at Plummer Park, at the library, at the Chamber of Commerce. So people who are out in the community can pick up that information. I think also at Cedars, so people can pick up that information all over town. And City Hall, of course.
Many, many places.
Right, right.
All right, well, very good. Perry, thank you so much. Great information. It's great to see and hear that the city is really doing such an excellent job helping its residents.
Thank you.
Well, we've been talking about some pretty standard modes of transportation, but if you're out on Santa Monica Boulevard this weekend, you might just find something a little more on the wild side. Eddie Robinson is out there right now showing us how to get picked up on a Saturday night.
These days, any pickup line you hear needs tons of creativity, more than a little flair, and a lot of style, just to catch your attention. Here's one that comes equipped with 4 wheels, music, and a plan for the next destination. For a signature night out in West Hollywood, who could ask for more? West Hollywood's new pickup line is the city's weekend transportation service. It makes frequent stops on Fridays and Saturdays every 15 minutes in the heart of West Hollywood from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. The pickup makes about 20 stops in all during its 4-mile loop, primarily along Santa Monica Boulevard. It's a celebration on wheels that safely gets you to your weekend nightlife venues. Just get on and go. Riders of the pickup line receive pick-me-ups of their own, including VIP drinks and discounted entry to many clubs in West Hollywood, and some 2-for-1 benefits you can even share with a friend. Here you guys, here you go, have this. You're welcome.
I've always taken the metro, going to West Hollywood all my life here in LA, but this, I think, never in my whole life, and I'm really glad that the city has developed this.
Oh, is that what it's called? What made you want to take the pickup line tonight then?
Well, we were eating Indian food, and then we decided to stroll around, and then as we were walking, we found a pickup.
The pickup is an appealing alternative to driving from destination to destination in a city full of places to be seen. Now you can be at all of them without having to pound the pavement or start your car. Instead, you can start a conversation with a new friend, an old love, or your future someone special.
We've been to Range 11.
We started from the west side, we're going to the east side, now we're going back to the west side.
Oh, that's wild. So you can have fun between your major destinations in the city, all while doing your part to save the environment, lessen traffic, and make group transportation sexy. And not have to get in your car and...
Wherever you park, that's where you stay.
Exactly, and now it doesn't have to be like that anymore.
So convenient, and it's like so fun, and it to me feels like, for me, one of the things I love about West Hollywood is it feels like a community, and it just feels like an amazing addition. And at the end of the day, we do want to be safe, and we do want to be responsible. And I mean, I think it's keeping drunk drivers off the streets. Don't drink and drive.
Like some relationships, this pickup is for the long haul. To keep this love alive, you can follow the pickup online on Twitter @WehoPickup or via Instagram @WehoPickup. You can also let us know your thoughts by emailing the pickup line at thepickup@weho.org. The pickup line is so great that once you get on, you almost don't want it to, well, stop. But this is my stop. I'll see you on here again. Thanks for watching.
And that is trending for today. If you have a comment or would like a little more information, or if you have an idea for a trending topic, just leave a message at WehoTV on Facebook or Twitter. You can also email us. Just remember to put #trending in the subject line, and we'll get right back to you. I'm Tracy Savage. Travel safely.